Everybody sit down and be quiet.
There comes a time in every person's life when they should ask themselves a very important question. Am I in a doomsday cult? It's a trickier question than it might first appear, since belief systems are complex and nuanced. The answer might not be a simple yes or no. Instead, we're dealing with more of a spectrum. A group you're in might be totally doomsday cultish, not at all doomsday cultish, or somewhere in the vast area in between. So here's a 5-point handy checklist to help you figure it out. 1. A doomsday cult needs an upcoming doomsday. It can be a natural disaster like a flood or an asteroid. It can be a human-made disaster like a nuclear Armageddon. Maybe the aliens will attack, or the kangaroos will rise up.
Don't mess with the ruse, mate.
Regardless of how it happens, the key is that the end of the world as we know it is inevitable and imminent. Often a doomsday cult will be excited about the end of the world. They might even be trying to help bring it about. They might think that they alone will survive it, while all of their enemies will be caught up in it and swept away. If you are in a group that has this sort of belief, you should slide that group a little further along the spectrum away from harmless belief system towards doomsday cult. 2. A doomsday cult has an absolute leader. A belief system may have all sorts of different power hierarchies, or even no hierarchy at all. Maybe it's a collective or a direct democracy. But a doomsday cult has to have an absolute leader at the top of its hierarchy. There may be seconds in command in that hierarchy, but ultimately in a doomsday cult there is one leader at the top of it all with ultimate decision-making power. They may or may not have some sort of fancy robe or elaborate hat that helps to identify them. Having a leader like that moves a group further along our cult scale. 3. That leader needs to have a compelling reason why they are elevated above everyone else, and it involves the way they receive knowledge and information important to the beliefs and activities of the cult. There are lots of ways to build knowledge. We might use logic and reason, or mathematics. We might use the powers of observation and experience, or intuition. But these forms of knowledge are open to everyone, and you mostly have to show your work to justify them. None of these would provide the leader with that special quality that a cult leader requires to be the top of their pyramid. The cult leader needs to have received their knowledge in a way that nobody can replicate, question, or challenge. That means it must be revealed knowledge that has come to them directly through some kind of supernatural entity, a god, an alien, a ghost, or some undefined force. Because the leader's knowledge has come directly from that supernatural force, it can't be questioned, which means that the leader can't be questioned, since the leader is the earthly representative of that supernatural force. The leader's knowledge comes from an infallible place, and everything the leader says must be true, even if it contradicts something else the leader said earlier. If the leader of your group claims to have this sort of revealed knowledge, and that they alone are the mouthpiece for that knowledge, that group slides even further along the cult scale.
Nice hair! No talking.
4. In a doomsday cult, the revealed knowledge must be the basis for all other aspects of the followers' lives, and it must be the answer to all questions the followers have about anything. It is the truth, and the only truth. Anything that goes against that one truth must by definition therefore be a lie, and possibly even a deliberate trick being played by evil forces that are actively trying to conceal the leader's truth. For this reason, information has to be tightly controlled in the cult, allegedly to prevent the corruption of the outside world from infecting the pure minds of the group members, but actually it's to keep followers from seeing the fallibility of the leader. This kind of worldview that insists on being the only truth and explaining all other aspects of life is called Totalism, since it tries to dominate the totality of experience and existence. Knowledge is power, and totalist knowledge creates total power. Total power can lead to total corruption. If you were in a group with a power structure in which the followers are taken advantage of, financially, physically, politically, or economically, for the benefit of the leader, and there are strict guidelines in place that control all aspects of the followers' lives, but don't apply to the leader, then we nudge that group further along our cult spectrometer. 5. In order for a doomsday cult belief system to avoid collapsing due to inconsistencies, or failed prophecies, or clearly observable facts that go against what the leader has said, there needs to be something that psychologist Robert J. Lifton refers to as the thought-terminating cliché. This is a phrase that gives the followers an easily remembered justification for anything that they experience that seems to go against the leader's vision. A phrase like, "the leader knows all," or "trust the plan," or The kangaroos are sneaky tricksters.
I warned you, mate.
Something that people can just repeat over and over, rather than letting critical thinking chip away at their convictions. So if you belong to a group that has a ticking doomsday clock that is running out of time, a leader calling all the shots who receives knowledge through supernatural revelation and refuses any other interpretations or perspectives, the followers are exploited to benefit the leader, and the entire system is protected with a thought-terminating cliché, then that group is very far along our spectrum, and you may be in a doomsday cult.
Hooray! So children, remember to always think for yourselves. Now, do my bidding.